I want to thank you very much for the honor of giving us a lecture last night. Very inspiring, and of course for us the timing was miraculous that we could have you lecture only 2 days after you received the Pritzker Prize. You started very early by stating that in China, new architectural developments, 90% of traditional buildings in many places are being demolished in order to make way for new construction. You, in your work, have tried to find a way to endeavor to counteract this by, at least initially, using materials from some of these demolished buildings as a way of crafting the fabric of the new buildings. And you called it a poetic of construction with recycled materials. And I'm interested particularly in your notion of how these pre-existing materials from old buildings, how they would be, as you say, recomposed, a kind of recomposition of memory, how it's possible to take the materials and by using these recycled materials, as you say, not so much emphasize the material as the notion that they contain craftsmanship, a sense of time, and memories of the people who live in this place.
Usually I call my work is echo or response to real reality. What happens in the reality, I see it, I should do some response. I'm not just is a professional architect that just do my work. I don't care what happened just out of the windows. Yeah. So another side, because I have experiences, in that time I do many small works, renovation to the old buildings. Yeah, it's very important to me. I asked, for example, they have a traditional wall, bricks wall, tiles wall. I will ask the question, who living here originally? Who touched this wall? You have many things here. So it's not just about materials. It's also about some people's, they touch it, they have some memory. Some people, they have the memory here. So I think it's more important than just talk about material. Of course, material also important. Usually in China, the architects, they just join, talking. And the material is after design, and they think about, oh, we use this material, another material in the market, like some production. So it's not my way. So the third, I think, I like the building like some feeling like this. It's not like some modern building, they just come from some abstract concept. Usually my building is like this. You will feel, even it's a quite new building, you still can find something before this exists there. Some existing things inside. Yeah, that's my feelings. So that's the why finally I got so many touch experience works with craftsmen together, because they need a craftsman to do it. There's the next story about how to do it.
You mentioned a moment in the museum where you were talking to someone who came to visit the museum, and they said that maybe they didn't come so much to see the museum, but because the fabric of the building was composed of the bricks, she thought maybe she could find and touch the brick of the courtyard of her building, which no longer existed, which of course was very moving, a very moving thing. Yeah. And it reminded me also of this story that had been in the National Public Radio interview, where you had made drawings when you were very young on the walls of your house in Beijing, and that you went back years later, and the people actually had saved the drawings and kept them, though they may now be under threat. But this notion of touching the wall, inscribing your experience, in your case, directly into the wall, is very, very moving. But that seems to still be a theme that works its way into the, but now it's something that's available to others through the way that you use the materials.
In fact, usually my work is according to my memory. Yeah, that story also my memory. When I have that very small childhood, I think that just 5 years old, I joined many drawing on the courtyard's wall in Beijing, in the Hutong's courtyard's wall. Then I leave Beijing. 4 or 5 years later, I come back, I found every drawing still there. My neighborhood, there's a grandson, grandfather, grandmother, it's neighborhoods, they keep this, preserve it. don't let any children to destroy. They say it's Wang Shu's drawing, so we shall keep it here. So it's a really good feeling. It's, for example, in the Xiangshan campus, it's also about memory. Yeah, when I'm in the childhood, it's a Counter-Revolution times in China. The school stopped. The students go back to home. Just a teacher in the campus. So every teacher become a farmer. Then they plant in the old campus, and the children also join the labor. It's really interesting things. For me, it's very happy. So as a family, I designed Xiangshan campus. Apart from the building groups, the dialogue to the mountains. Between this, I keep a large amount farm field inside the campus. This is my memory.
What would your advice be for your colleagues in the West working in China today?
Don't be influenced by some popular times. That's our way. In the late 1980s, I just graduated from a school, so I want to do some new education taste, experiment. But the interesting is I go into the art academy. I think in China, in art academy it means more freedom there. But interesting, in China, artists, they don't know anything about architecture. They can't understand architecture. Till to the end of 1990s, the artists, they began to understand architects. So you can think what is the situation. For the common people, they more don't know about architecture like this. So that's why I established a new school just after 2000 in National Art Academy. We want to do totally different things, more about hand drawing, hand making, material construction, mix some Chinese tradition, for example, calligraphy, landscape drawing. I mix this together, do some experiment. Many of my friends, as artist friends, help me. We do this.
Of course, with the recognition, the great recognition that comes with the Pritzker Prize, you have now become the most important role model and perhaps spiritual mentor to the next generation of young Chinese architects. And we also have many students here at Washington University coming from China to study architecture here. What do you think would be the most important lesson I think they can draw from your career, from your architecture, in finding their own paths, their future directions in this vocation of architecture they have selected for themselves?
I think it's very simple. It's to looking for their way by themselves, keep independent spirits, and insist long time enough. They will be successful.